Hello, my name is Rich Howard, owner of Architectural Builders Supply, and this video is to bring you a closer look at the Knapp & Vogt P1092. This is a sliding aluminum track system for typical pieces of glass, comprised of a few different components, and we're going to go through all of them shortly. This is going to be appropriate for glass that is going to be very commonly seen in installations that you would have in a doctor's office, patient sort of separation. For quarter-inch glass, very typical. Okay, includes the upper track, the lower track, the top guides, the bottom aluminum channel, which acts as a guide, and then the sheaves that they call them nylon rollers. We have this in the website in 4 different lengths, 4 different kit sizes: 3 foot, 4 foot, 5 foot, and 6 foot. K&V does not recommend butt joints or openings longer than 12 foot. That strikes me as contradictory because I don't see a kit length longer than 6 foot. Obviously, they are perhaps thinking that there must be some sort of configuration where you have multiple doors possibly staged. That could be an installation. You could have, you could do a multiple door sort of installation where you would be having a panel ride together on a single track system. There's a link below this video to the technical data, which gives you a cross-section view of the system, and then of course the installation instructions, which are certainly included. All right. So a 3-door system is going to require obviously additional hardware that you're going to certainly need. You would have to provide a system that you can handle 3 doors. Converting the system to a 3-door sort of track would require it's easily shown on the installation instructions. You would still have, your double track system, but what you would end up doing is needing to work with the center section being long enough to accommodate multiple doors. So what happens is you would have if you had 2 kits, they would share the U channel that faces each other. Those doors would share that single raceway, is how that would end up working. Now they do have single track in 12-foot lengths, as they do the upper T guide in 12-foot lengths as well. So you can do the shoe, you can do the lower track in 12-foot lengths, you can do the double channel in 12-foot lengths as well, but that's how you go about accomplishing that. You wouldn't have necessarily more than the double set of tracks, because that intersection, inner door, outer door, then the middle door, you're going to have multiple doors on that inner run is how it's accomplished. Actually, the link below this video to the installation instruction details those other items when doing a very wide opening. And that's all certainly possible, and that's how it's accomplished. The wider or longer lengths aren't necessarily, at least at this time, in the site because they are difficult to ship because of the length. They cannot be shipped tractor trailer, and while they can easily be, an order can easily be processed and shipped, you end up needing to have common carrier sort of delivery on material of that length. So let's just go over the typical system, because that's really, a 2-door system is really what you're going to be dealing with. Starting from the ground going up, here is your typical double lower track, and your sheaves or your nylon rollers are going to rest in here. Okay, this is a 4-foot kit that we're working on here. The width of this, about 1 1/16 inches. Overall height we can gauge on the camera there at about 1/4 inch. Moving up, we have the nylon rollers. Okay. I'm just going to very obviously roll right in there. Okay. And what this communicates to is the next part going up. You'll have two of these because you'll have two doors. Okay, so how that'll work. You can tell that the material is not symmetrical. It installs just as it's shown because you need to have the housing of the nylon get tucked up inside of there so that you look just like that. Okay, and you of course pressure fit that all the way down. Then moving up even further, okay, wheel is removed. Your glass will sit into this channel here, 1/4 inch glass. Overall height of what is called, it's called the shoe, or what these are called, 1 inch, about 3/8 projection. Give you an idea of what the inside dimension is for that glass. It's for 1/4 inch glass, but we'll give the inside dimension should you perhaps be doing something other than glass. The caliper says that that is 0.265. 0.265 inside dimension. Okay, right here. Okay, continuing up the unit, the next thing you'll encounter will be the Nylon Guides. These will get pressure fitted over the top of your panel, your glass, whatever you're installing it onto. Then these Nylon Guides are going to run in the double top track, just like this. Okay. Now, we have exhausted, with the inclusion of the installation instructions, everything that's included in the kit. There's math here on how to derive the net door panel width when you're doing a 2-door system and a 3-door system. There is a reference to the height as well. So from your rough opening, or well, from the top of the track, the top of the double channel track at the top, and the bottom of the lower track, your net height will be 1 3/16 less. You can mortise this material into your cabinetry, whatever the case might be, but your reference point is going to be top of the track to the bottom, not to a rough opening sort of dimension. They give, if you're recess mounting it, you the math that it's 1.5 inches shorter than that same sort of height, because they're assuming that you're going to be able to be using that double channel at the bottom that's shown there. And as far as doing a mortise mount, it would certainly be preferable that in your mortised channel you have more than just the lower track itself. You're going to want that U channel, I would think, for that sort of recessed installation. Although recessed is a little bit less common, and what sometimes people will do is it wouldn't be a route into like an MDF sort of subsurface. It might be millwork, that's casework that's created and nailed down to give the look of it being recessed, or a more finished look. And in that case, I'm tempted to say that the double channel track, which is their 1093, and by the way, all the part numbers are listed below this video on the link to the technical data and instructions. It may not be necessary, and the reason that it's not necessary because it's not included in the standard kit. People that are buying just these one-time kits for doing a single job or a couple of openings don't usually get involved in that. However, your project may absolutely require it. So those would be picked up as separate items, and that's how we would detail that opening. Looking at the rest of the extended description below this video, so the summary of it comes as an assembled sort of pack. The kit will consist of all the parts we went over earlier, double top track, double upper track, 4 nylon guides, 2 per door, 4 nylon rollers, or sheaves I was calling them, your 2 track shoes, and then your 1 lower double track. It's all clear anodized aluminum, so it's aluminum with a clear anodized finish on it. Installs quickly and easily. What's not included with this material are any fasteners, nails or screws. I've never actually used an adhesive to hold this in place, although K&V lists it as a permissible method of installation. Allows doors to slide easily and quietly. That is sure the case. Can be mounted or recessed, mounted or surface mounted. Components are easily cut to fit any opening up to 12 foot. We discussed that earlier, how to accomplish that. KV recommends that the height to length ratio for the glass doors not exceed 2 to 1. So 24 inches not to exceed 12 inch wide in that sort of relationship. It's really because you could, with keeping it within that proportion would prevent someone from having a 4 foot tall by 1 foot wide sort of panel. There could potentially be so much deflection in that piece of glass that it might actually escape from the upper channel. Okay, so that's important to know. Obviously, installing your glass is going to be guides will go on the glass, and you'll tuck it up. Tuck it up, and then kick it down and over your the bottom shoe, which is here. Okay. The balance of the installation instructions, we discussed the 1 3/16 less, shorter amount of glass given the overall height between the top of the channel, top track and lower track. They want you to have the total width, which is T, ignore that. The total width, add 1/2 of an inch to it, and you're basically going to divide that in 2. So D2 is the actual glass size. So take your total opening, add 1/2 of an inch to it, divide that in 2. That's each glass. That 1/2 inch larger will allow you a 1 inch overall overlap, is what it would be, and a very typical and common sort of formula to use just for bypass doors in a residential application. Showcase locks go obviously hand in hand with this sort of material, of which we can provide you as well. If you have any questions on the Knapp & Vogt P1092 sliding aluminum glass track system and its sister product, which is the roller bearing model, which is the P992, which is the same sort of concept except that it has steel track channels with ball bearings. So that material would be your P992 rather than your P1092. I sell a lot more of the P992s only because that sliding glass sort of channel track system is more robust, more capable of handling heavier loads in a much smoother application. And you'll see in custom cabinetry variants of that P992 much more commonly, especially if it's a retail installation. Millwork companies that are creating large sets of millwork applications for retail spaces and etc. The name Knapp & Vogt is synonymous with, they're synonymous with standards and brackets, pilaster strips and clips. There's a link below this video to the manufacturer's page, and what is very interesting there is their relatively new line of sliding door, track, and hanger and guide systems for residential wood doors. Pocket, bypass, bifold. If you ever have more than an occasional need for that material, by all means review their catalog for the sliding door track and hardware, because it is incredibly logically laid out. Once you know the system, bifold, bypass, pocket, which is obvious to derive, you then select the weight rating. Okay, that you pretty much know, and then from there you can drill down immediately to those options are available from K&V, whether it be steel track, aluminum track, maybe an I-beam sort of track. I'm very happy with the quality of that entire product line, and am having very good success at the distribution of it. If you have any questions on the original item, the P1092 easy roller aluminum track system for 1/4 inch glass or maybe other panels, please feel free to reach out to us. Thank you.